Good morning, Laskin Corla, and I welcome the opportunity to speak on this bill. And first of all, before I start, I just want to inform the House that I am a landlord, and that just to state that to the House, so I have an interest in this subject. The first thing I want to say is that, Minister, the idea of that facing us, or the problem that's facing us at the moment, is around the supply of houses. And at the moment, the local authorities are being commissioned to deliver social housing, and we now see them being commissioned to deliver affordable houses, and they're also delivering some other types of houses which will help people. And I want to acknowledge, first of all, Galway County Council's efforts over the last number of years to build social housing estates, and I welcome the fact that social housing is being built again and as part of our government policy rather than leaving it to the private sector. I do believe that the houses that are being built are of fantastic quality, and they're a credit to everybody involved in it. But when we come back to the real issue, which is homelessness and people without places to stay, it comes down to one particular word, and that is the supply of houses. And how can we actually help with the supply as a government? And the one area where we are totally dysfunctional is in the area of the private housing supply. We do have some housing, private accommodation being built, but most of it is apartment blocks by investment companies, as opposed to housing being built by developers to sell on to individuals. And it's striking that in Galway County at the moment, there are only 2 private housing estates being built. And that's an indictment of where we're at and the policies we're at. And if we don't increase that supply very, very rapidly, we're going to be in worse trouble. And I do acknowledge the fact that we have the Creek Quinnihe scheme, which we as the regional group looked to have enhanced, and it was enhanced and it's now functioning. But I do believe that the local authorities need more resources to make sure that that all the processes are done in a more speedy manner, so that we can see the work being done and we can see people occupying houses in a quicker manner. So I think the emergency situation we have needs to be dealt with emergency measures by the local authorities supported by government. And another area where we have problems is in the area of planning. And we have a lot of planning refusals for one reason or another. And we also have problems with the zoning of lands for one reason or another. And we have an incredible thing where forward planners will tell you that it's more important to have a footpath to connect housing to the centre of the town than to have sewerage. And I've seen that in local area plans where lands are being deemed not to be preferenced or prioritised on the basis that there's no footpath to link them to the town. Well, I think we can build footpaths, we can do all of that, but we need to have a common sense approach. And secondly, I think because this is an emergency and because the private sector is dysfunctional in terms of the delivery of houses, I would be asking government to set up an emergency task force to see what are the blockages. Where are we going to start getting developers to build houses on land on which they own, rather than imposing land tax on zone land that's not being built on. I think we need to wake up to the fact that this is an emergency, and I think we also need to wake up to the fact that if we don't do something now, we're going to find ourselves in a worse state. Anger is beginning to build up in relation to all of this, and people are comparing, how refugees are being treated and how asylum seekers are being treated and how our own people in this country are being treated. That's under the surface. It's beginning to bubble up. So I think there's only one solution to all of this, and one answer is that we provide a policy for our private housing development, or more than a policy, we provide the instruments by which we can build houses that are affordable at a speed at which they are required over the next number of years. And I fail to see that coming other than strategies and plans and agencies being set up, but actually to see the houses on the ground is the important thing. So we need to cut out a lot of the red tape and get on with it. Thank you, Minister.